So as you can see, I have my basic bodies for the front and back drafted out. I'm going to slash this up so we can work on the front pattern per usual. I'm going to close up the bust dart, and there is usually an excess on the side which we fill up, so that's what I'm just going to do now. This shouldn't be new to you guys because I've done it like countless times on my channel, but I'm still going over it again, so just watch the process. Now that is done, I'm going to proceed to do the under bust tightening. Now on the left hand side, which is the center front, I'm going to mark 0.25 inch, and on the right hand side, which is the side front, I'm going to mark 0.5 inch, and then proceed to use my ruler to make it curve to the bust point. Now I'm going to draw a line from the under bust to the waistline and also blend the pointy part on the under bust line. Now it's time to mark out the cleavage point. So from the bust line, I'll be going up by 2.5 inches. You can go up by 3 inches or even 2 inches, depending on how open you want the cleavage area to be and how much you want to reveal. Alright, so I'm going to extend the bust point line upwards, and then we're going to do the over bust tightening on that point. So on both sides of the line that I've just extended, I'm going to mark 0.75 inch and draw out a dot. Mind you, when rolling the line with your armhole curve or whatever pattern curve you'll be using, the curve doesn't have to be really curvy to avoid excesses, just a very slight curve. Alright. Next, on the bust line, I'm going to mark 0.5 inch upwards and also mark 0.5 inch inwards. Okay, you can decide to mark 0.75 inch inwards as well. Depends on the body size of the person you're working with. Alright, but for a small size, I prefer to use 0.5, and for a plus size person, 0.75 works better. I'm just going to use my marker to highlight the lines I had drawn previously so you know what we're working with. On the under bust line as well, I'm going to mark 0.5 inch inward and draw a straight line connecting both points. Now from the half inch that I went inwards on the bust line, I'm going to draw out the first curve. So you can see the way I placed my ruler. Make sure yours is in that manner. Alright, if not, you'll be having a very wrong curve. After drawing it out, I'm going to proceed to use my marker to highlight it so you can see what I've just done clearly. So once you've drawn your cup, make sure that the distance on the under bust line that I just pointed is no more than 1 inch or 1.25 inch. That way you know that you've drawn your cup in the right manner. Now the next thing to do is to draw out the second cup, and to do that I'll be marking 1 inch in from the armhole points, just as you can see me do. And then I'm going to slash open the waist dart so I can close up the bust dart and draw out the cup. I'm going to connect the mat point to the under bust, drawing out the cup. Okay, so make sure your ruler gives you a cup-like shape, not something slanty. That's a very wrong cup shape. Okay. Once I'm done with that, I'm also going to highlight with my marker. So now we have the two cups ready. The next thing I'm going to do now is close up the over bust dart and draw out the desired neckline that I want. Okay, so if you wanted this to be a tube, after you do this is done, you can go ahead to cut out. But I said earlier, I'm going to be showing you how to do it with and without a yoke. Okay, so I'm just going to proceed to draw the neckline. Watch what I'm doing. All right. Now to the yoke part, I'm going to divide what we have on the shoulder slant line, mark the midpoint, and connect that point to the bust point with my straight ruler. Now we're going to have to tighten the yoke, so when you put on the dress or the blouse, whatever it is you used for the yoke, the net or whatever, sits perfectly on your chest area. And to do that, I'm going to connect the midpoint on the shoulder slant to the two dart legs that I used for the overbust tightening, just as I've pointed. Alright, so just watch what I'm doing. I'm using broken lines for guide, okay? I'm going to show you how to cut out the 3-part corset cup. So for that, we're going to close this up. But mind you, if you want to cut out this too, that's totally fine. Okay, but just in case you would want to know how to cut out the 3 parts, I thought to explain as well. No knowledge is a waste, alright? So the one on the center front is our cup 1 and the one on the side front is our cup 2. Now to the 3-part corset cup. On the center front cup, I'm going to mark 1.5 inch, and on the side front, I'm going to mark 2 inches. You can also do it 2 inches on both sides. You could make one smaller, one bigger. So after I'm done doing that, I'm just going to go ahead to ruler line on the marked points, and we have our 3-part corset cup. I'm just going to proceed to label. The one on the top part is the number 1, the cup on the center front is number 2, and the one on the side front is number 3. And there you have it, easy breezy. Per usual, I'm going to highlight with my marker, okay, on the lines that I just drew with my pen, so it's more visible for you to know what we're working with. I'm going to proceed to label now. We have the center front and the side front. I'm also going to put arrows on the bust point of both cups, so I know that this is the bust point when I want to join the fabric. And afterwards, I'm going to proceed to cut out. So these are all the pieces cut out. I cut out the 2-part cup, which later on I'm going to hold down with my sellotape and show you how to cut out the 3 parts. Make sure that your cup is this round, okay? Now let's move on to the cutting of the 3 parts. Mind you, if you don't want to cut out the 2 parts, you don't even have to cut it out, then come back to tape it down with your sellotape. You can just cut it out on the pattern, okay? I just wanted to show you how to do both. These are the 3 parts of the corset cup. I'm just going to label 1, 2, and 3, and then keep this aside so I can show you what needs to be done on the yoke parts. First off, I'm going to cut it out and then proceed to close up the darts. that I've closed the darts, you can see that there is a shortage just right where we cut out the neckline. So I'm going to put a piece of paper underneath and blend it up, try to fill it up. Afterwards, I'm going to hold it down with my tape and then cut out the excess paper. So now that that is done, I'm going to do a shoulder tightening, and on the neck width, I'm going to go down by 1/2 inch, just as you can see me do, and redraw our shoulder slant. That way we've done the shoulder tightening. Now I'm going to proceed to cut out, and our yoke is ready. This is all for the front pattern. Now let's move to the back pattern. Now for the back pattern, you can see that I have drawn out the horizontal lines for each point. I also did the waist tightening to eliminate zip bulge. Now, if you want to use a zip for the corset, all you just have to do is impute your round body measurements divided by 4 for each point, mark out your darts, and then cut out. Okay, but the one I would be showing you today is corset with loops, okay, at the back. So to do this, I'm going to be dividing my bust waist measurement by 4, and I'll be subtracting 1 inch from each point. Okay, my round bust is 35. Like I said, I'll divide that by 4 and subtract 1, and my round waist measurement is 30. I'm also going to divide that by 4, and I'll be subtracting 1 inch from it. So from the point where I did the tightening on the waistline is where I'm going to mark my round body measurements, and I'm going to be adding 1 inch on the waistline for dart allowance, and then proceed to also mark my bust measurements. Afterwards, I'm going to use a ruler to draw a line across the marked points. Now I'm going to mark my nipple to nipple measurement on the waistline, and you can see I placed my tape from the initial center back. I'm also going to be sharing the 1 inch for dart allowance on both sides, and I'll proceed to draw out my dart leg just the way you see me do. Now on the chest line, to avoid having a pointy edge there, like you would normally see on a normal basic back pattern, I'm marking 1 line each on both sides. It's not up to 0.25, just 1 line each, just to avoid having a pointy edge there, because at the end of the day, we're going to have the center back and the side back separately. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Just watch what I'm doing if you don't get my explanation. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is to draw out the armhole curve just like I did for the front. Only difference is I'm going inwards by 0.5 inch. Now I'm going to proceed to label the side back and the center back, and don't forget our loops are going to be on the center back, hence why I'm drawing out the circles that you see. Now moving on to the yoke part, I'm going to be giving it a keyhole design, so you can decide how wide you want that to be. You can see the way I've placed my ruler, nothing serious. This is up to you, whatever your preference is. If you want it not to open, this is totally fine. If you want it open really wide, I already showed how to go about that as well, so it all depends on what you want. So this is basically all for the back pattern. I'm going to proceed now to cutouts. And this is it for the cutting of the back pattern. I'm going to proceed to label the yoke. One more thing, if you do not want a keyhole design at the back, you don't have to cut out the parts that I did. Okay, you could still have your back yoke intact. And if you also do not want, to have your corset laced at the back, you could still do it with zip. All you just have to do is not remove the 1 inch that I did on both the bust and the waistline. And then when you transfer to your fabric, remember to add your allowances, your zipper allowances and side stitching allowance. Alright, and there you have it. So this brings us to the end of today's tutorial. Thank you guys so much for watching, and per usual, please do not forget to like, share, comment and subscribe. If you have questions, please feel free to drop it in the comment section. I'll be more than happy to respond to them. Please subscribe, share to your friends, engage my video. And for those of you that watch the ads on my videos and watch my videos from the beginning to the end, I really cannot explain how much love I have for you guys. I really appreciate you guys. With this, you guys make me feel like my effort is not wasted, and I really appreciate that. Thank you guys for engaging with me. Thank you for riding. Thank you for supporting me. Until next time, bye.